Today we're working on making this photo more appealing. I'm going to be using Adobe Photoshop CS5 and a Camera Raw plugin just for the initial steps. Now, as you can see on this photo, the central focus, it's in the middle. The outsides don't really matter. So initially we're just going to crop it to portrait, just in the center of the image, and then rotate it to just be in line with the step so it's in the right position. That looks about right, and then we're just going to open the image in Photoshop. My first port of call for image editing is I try and get the general color and find the opposite to do as a photo filter. So do this by increasing the density, and then you just try and find the one that looks most natural, and then you can tone it down later. I think it's sort of a yellow because it was also a bluey vibe, so let's say about that. So instead of it being slightly blue, you just bring up this yellow just to even out the tones a bit. Next step is to lighten the image quite drastically. We can always darken it later, but just to get a bigger feel for it. Then I'm going to turn down the saturation a little bit. Should we turn down the vibrance? No, what we really want is to get this green to go a bit down, so I think turning down saturation would be better than vibrance in this instance. You can see the difference there. Next, I'd like to do a vignette because the focus is very much in the middle of the image. The outside, top and bottom don't really matter. So I kind of want to soften that by darkening the corners, not drastically so that you notice they've been darkened, but just enough to kind of soften the image and bring focus to the center. The number of ways you can do this: you can just do it with the pen tool, or you can do it with brightness and contrast. I prefer to use curves because you can get feedback on what is changing. So I just darken all of that. So that's how much darker it will be, and then use the eraser tool. Just make it really soft and big. Lessen the flow quite a lot. Just use that and cut out the middle of it. Does that look about right? Maybe a bit more either side. And you can see from that little overlay there that now it's just kind of brought that focus into the middle. We can make it more drastic so it's more obvious. Maybe a little bit off the sides more. So that's what that effect is having. It's just bringing the focus to the center, just darkening the outside. Now it's all kind of middle ground. I think we should change the color balance of the image. It looks kind of plain, so there's no real secret here. You just have to kind of change it until it feels about right. Don't know whether we should go for a kind of reddish vibe. That's quite nice. A reddish vibe, or kind of like bluey. I think I prefer this one actually. So we're kind of pushing all of them towards a kind of greeny turquoise, and that's just totally changing the colour of the image, which is really nice. So now the image is, wasn't meant to happen. Now the image is properly colorized. I think we'll just blur a bit to bring even more focus to the center. We can use the blur tool on here, just to make these leaves a little less drastic, and just so that just soften out the edges even more. Needs a bit of time to calculate that. But now I think that's done. It's kind of bringing you down the center of the image, which is what we wanted. Can I just adjust the color balance slightly? Could go the kind of very sepia-ish route, because that is attractive on this image. It looks very summery, but I think the sort of bluer is more attractive for this one. Yeah, I think that's the... You know what? No. This is very trial and error. You just have to kind of change it until you feel that you've got it right. Think about that, that's nice and summery. I might even tone down the saturation a little bit more. But yeah, I'm happy with how that image looks now. It's quite stylized, but I think it evokes more of the feeling of the image than it would have before. So let me just go through the adjustments we've made if we turn all of them off. Firstly, we cropped the image and aligned it. Then we added a yellow filter just to even out the colours. Significantly lightened it with a curves filter, which was made everything lighter, but especially the kind of middle colours. And then tuned down the saturation a little bit with vibrance. And then with curves I did quite a severe vignette, but it's still not so dramatic as to you can see the line where it is. It's quite a soft one. And then colour balance to make it more red. And that's the end. So we can see now the difference between these images. It's much kind of redder, happier, summery, and then you've got rid of all this darkness from the middle by brightening it all and adding darkness from the outside.